Hi, I'm Professor Ruth McPhail and I'm part of the teaching team in the Griffith Business School from the Department of Employment Relations and Human Resources. And now we're going to talk about how change affects society, business and employees. We're going to look at this from a micro, meso and also macro level and think about the types of forces that are shaping the future of work and what will an organisation need to think about in this future changing workforce. We'll be looking at how society, organisations and individuals are impacted, thinking about those forces and some of the trends. So let's start with the macro, meso and micro levels. So the macro level is society as a whole, for example, political, economic or social factors. The meso level is the parts of society like groups and organisations that you might be a part of. And the micro level is the actions of the actual individual. So if you think about, for example, the Australian workforce, that is society as a whole at the macro level. But it's driven very much by the meso level, the organisations and groups that form as part of society. So for us, that's a part of the Griffith Business School within Griffith University. Then it boils down to the micro level, you as a student, me as an academic, and our actions as individuals to help you find the career that you're looking for. So change affects every level. It will affect the Australian economy, it will affect parts of the society or groups that we work in, and that's all driven by what we do as actions of individuals, and vice versa. It works two ways. So how does change affect society, business and employees? Well, we can start by looking at technological breakthroughs and then those rapid changes in technological innovation. So we are changing in size as a population of our distribution, including our age profile, which is shifting. Now, the rapid urbanisation has seen many people in the world moving towards cities, and that has had an impact on how things have changed. The power shift has also happened between the developed and developing countries. So that's a shift in global economic power. The resource and security and climate change is really important because of the way that we look at the depletion of fossil fuels, extreme weather changes, things like rising sea levels and water shortages. All of these things will have an impact on change and changing ways that we do work and business into the future. So what are the capabilities we said we'd consider? Well, the top 10 capabilities for employers to think about in terms of their organisational readiness is how well are they trusted by society? How well do they value human beings? Are they ensuring the well-being of their employees? And importantly, are they measuring output, not hours? So rather than the number of hours you sit behind a desk tapping on your keyboard, what is it that you actually produce? And are we measuring that? Or are we simply using presenteeism or the ability to just look at people and see that they are there? Do we create collaborative work environments so people can work in teams? Nurturing agility and adaptability of those teams and the individuals is also incredibly important because we know that organisations that aren't able to change rapidly are often left behind and sometimes fail. We have to also ensure going forward that we promote the work-life balance for our employees, and that includes recent changes, for example, of working from home and striking a balance going forward of how we might be able to help our employees achieve their work-life balance goals. Innovation is incredibly important for organisations, and those who don't innovate will surely find themselves in trouble. So that's incredibly important, and getting those agile and resilient and adaptable teams is critical to ensure that innovation occurs and that it's supported, because remember, innovation doesn't always work the first time. Also ensuring there's fairness and transparency in pay. People would like to know that they're being treated equally, and equity is a very important thing to people in the workplace. Then there's also the ability to e-skill and continuously learn. So what's the professional development that that organisation is offering? Now, if you've got these 10 organisational capabilities well and truly in place at your organisational level, your group level and your individual level, then you'll be well on your way to ensuring your resilience and adaptability moving forward. But let's think about what some of the risks might be. Well, data-driven decisions. Now, are we too reliant on data decision? Or are we actually doing something about being data-driven? So this at risk was where employers said, we know about it, we think about it, but we're not actually doing anything about it just yet. But these are the things that become critical for the organisation that may see it fail if they don't consider these things and act upon them. So, how do you use data to drive decisions? How do you measure skill gaps within your employees? Importantly, how do you remove bias? We all have conscious and unconscious biases, and how do we ensure that that is taken out of things like remuneration, recruitment, selection, training, promotion, and other such things? Tech-savvy HR. Human resources is critical to any organisation, and making sure they have the skills and knowledge that they're going to need to go forward is very, very important. Making sure you've got flexible talent and giving people the opportunity to work in different roles and different areas to increase that flexibility is really critical for employers going forward. Making sure people have manageable workloads. That sounds like a small thing, but it's incredibly important. If people's workloads are not manageable, they feel undervalued, and it's very hard to measure their abilities. Making sure we have thinking for the future in terms of what will we need for our workforce. So workforce planning, and making sure there are modern career paths. So opportunities for people to move across, people to move up, and for if people want to move into different areas altogether. This will increase their ability to be flexible and help them to feel that they're valued within the organisation. This will also help the organisation deal with number 9, which is adaptability. How adaptable is that organisation? The last one is the ecosystems of the workplace. So how do we set workplaces up? And this is very interesting. Is it traditional hierarchical? Is it flexible and adaptable networked teams? Are there a lot of middle management? Is there not a lot of middle management? How does that actually work? And what are some of the better ways that you might be able to think of doing it in your organisation? Sometimes not a lot of thought and time goes into some of these at-risk capabilities, but these are clearly what organisations need to sit down, not just think about, but do something about. So we've talked about the effects of change at different levels. We've looked at the forces that are shaping the future of work and what you're going to need to do within organisations to ensure that you're ready to respond to the changes at a societal, organisational, individual level. So that's your macro, your meso, and your myso. Here are some reference for you to have a look at. There's some great PricewaterhouseCoopers reports, and if you've got any questions, let us know. Thanks.